Hello everyone, I'm KC from Passion for the Nations, and today we're interviewing Lhon and Denise, and they are from Saddleback Church, and today we're going to be talking about HIV and AIDS ministry. So it's really good to have you with us.
Thank you, KC.
Yeah, so we know that you guys are involved with HIV and AIDS ministry. Can you tell us a bit about what you guys are doing?
Basically, we are involved in the local HIV care ministry in Saddleback Church, and we also go overseas and then to share the burden with the overseas church.
So how did you guys get started in this ministry?
I attend the first annual HIV global conference in Saddleback in 2005. At the conference, I was heartbreaking, with HIV situation in the world. And I was crying in tears in the conference. HIV ministry founder and director, Kay Warren, she shared her heart and her burden with us. And also she called church to respond to this crisis. And I was heartbreaking during the conference. And I asked God, say, God, what can I do to help to stop this pandemic? And God told me, say, when you go to Asia, do the peace plan, I want you to do HIV prevention program to the people. And that's how I started involved in this ministry. And I begin to attend a lot of training, workshop, and research on the internet, read book. And so that's how we started. And of course, I invite my husband to join me in this ministry.
So why is it that the Asian American church or the Asian church never really talk about this subject?
I think there's a lot of fear because people don't have knowledge. When they don't have knowledge, they are afraid. They are afraid to be infected by the people who carry the virus. So that's why we need to educate our people for the basic knowledge, how they can get infected. The truth is, unless you have a sex activity and or blood transfusion or some kind of, if you have cut and the other person had cut, this kind of, blood touch, and then maybe that's a chance. Otherwise, handshaking, kiss, and do meal together, it won't infect it. And also in the swimming pool, use a toilet, it won't infect it.
Probably we can talk about our example, like we in the local, we serve one patient. And the first time we invite this friend for lunch together. So we eat together, we eat meal together, and then we go to his place, sit down with him, and he share his needs and struggle, and we just listen. So first of all, we have to be present and accept people, and then we listen to what they need, and just be friend. That's what they need. So we can share the hope and love of God, and then we pray for him. So first time after the visitation, before we left, he asked us, say, we just meet each other first time. How come you so nice to me? Even my parents abandoned me. I don't have friends. And we told him because Jesus Christ. So we pray for him, and then we hug to each other. And so it's not easy to get infected. So I think just get some basic knowledge so you can approach people like my friend, and then you can just share the gospel to them.
So what would you say is the number one need of HIV patients? What is their deepest desire?
Friend.
Yeah.
Relationship. Yeah. They need people in their life and then care about them, love them, accept them.
Okay, so you guys also do overseas training about HIV ministry. Can you tell us who you get involved with and how does it work?
Overseas, I think we focus on Asia, especially on the Triangle area, Laos and Thailand, that area.
In that region, there's a very high HIV prevalence in the region, and so many HIV people in and out in the church, but church didn't respond to the need. And when we were there 3 years ago, this topic is not even in their agenda, and we start share our burden, God's heart with them. And the first year they didn't respond at all, and the second year they were thinking, say, oh, well, maybe we should do something. They start say, okay, we are waiting, but what can we do? So at this point, then we start train them how to do care ministry, and even mobilize their volunteer. And then also they mobilize the HIV people also to respond to the need and to take the lead for the ministry.
So what would be like the best story or best experience that you guys have had ministering to HIV patients?
Oh yes, I just mentioned a church we went to 3 years ago, and the story was there was about 60 some HIV people went to this church, and for the Christmas event last year, and they even formed a choir sing in the event, and 20 some of them accept Christ in that day. So this is a great story, miracle. Yeah. So, and then actually the HIV people take the ownership and they are leading the ministry. So this is what God is doing amazing work in that church.
That is amazing. So you're saying infected HIV patients, they're actually serving in the choir.
Yes.
They're singing.
Yes. Yeah.
And ministering to the congregation.
Right. I remember a couple years ago when I first met the leader, HIV couple, they were talking about suicide at the first time we met them. And then the second year when I met them, the lady started sharing with me. She said, the church accepted me. And now I'm serving in the choir, by herself at that time. And her face feel, joy and hope. And I can see her life is transformed. And the year later, she leading the ministry and took the 60 some people to the event, and 20 some accept Christ.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's a big story. It's God's amazing work.
Right.
Yes.
So God can really work through anybody, right? Even someone who is infected, God can use them mightily to reach other HIV patients.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another thing I like to share is a lot of people will approach us and say, we are not a medical people, we don't have any knowledge, we don't have any training, and they are not equipped doing ministry like this. And I will share with them, thank God, and because I'm the person who are not a medical background, who didn't have any training, but because of the heart, the burden I got in the conference really carried me all these years. And when you and me, we all have the compassion inside of us. If you're willing to unleash the compassion, you can change the world. And
if you want to take another step ahead and get more involved, we welcome you to contact Lhon and Denise or Saddleback's care ministry for HIV. All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us and sharing your heart with us.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you.
Thank you.